Hey guys, it's Zach Ryling, your host. This is the X-Men The Uncanny Evolution Podcast, Episode 1, and today we'll be diving into X-Men, the first movie from 2000. This is the first installment of a series of lengthy, long movies that took place in the early 2000s, leading up till 2017 to 2019, where they stopped filming their versions of the X-Men. This will all be leading up to Deadpool and Wolverine. For anyone that is excited for this new movie that'll be coming out soon, I'm doing a watch-along podcast with the first few episodes of this. We will be doing movie after movie in order of the X-Men franchise from when Fox still had them, before Disney bought Fox. I know that's a mouthful, but with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast with me. This will be a watch-along commentary only. This is a audio-only podcast as well. So, with that being said, and all that out of the way, let's get started with the movie. I'm watching this on Disney Plus. I do have the DVD, but I figured I'd watch it on something that almost everybody can have access to, because I am aware physical media is almost in a dying breed for some reason right now, and we need to help bring that back. But for right now, this is what we're going to be watching it on. I have it on the menu for the X-Men. I'm going to be hitting play. I will do a countdown for that. In 3, 2, 1, that will be the countdown. So, we will be getting started right now. 3, 2, 1. And we're loading in. Alright, and here we go. Here's the Fox logo, guys. I do have the audio muted. I have the subtitles on just because I've already previously watched this. This is a take 2 recording as well for anyone listening. The first recording I took didn't save for some reason on my drive that I have, and I had to redo it. So this is take number 2. Hopefully this sounds a lot better than the first one. But here we go. We open up with the narration of Sir Patrick Stewart and this firework collage. They really tried to go for a visually pleasing eye-opener for this movie. And you can tell, it's evident in its work. This was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when everyone was doing CGI openings like this. A lot of people kind of laugh about it now, like they don't take it too seriously, but I think they're kind of cool. I enjoy them. I wish some movies still did them, not all, but some. I certainly enjoy the new way that Marvel opens up now with their new movies. I haven't seen the last few movies that Marvel's done just because I heard how bad they've been. And I'm sure there's an audience for those movies out there somewhere, but it's just not really for me. So, all right, guys, here we go. The X logo. And now we're starting off in a concentration camp. I can't remember if it says where exactly this concentration camp is. But this is our first introduction to Magneto. And I remember how iconic this scene was when the movie first came out. It was really eye-opening to see, just because we're going to see a superhero movie, and they opened up with a concentration camp. Like, that's ballsy. It was so ballsy that an X-Men First Class, directed by Vince Vaughn, he wanted to open up the movie the same way, because he wanted to do another reintroduction of Magneto. And that was when we started to have Michael Fassbender play him in the new movies that they started to do in the 2010 era. But this is quite a jarring opening for anyone that doesn't expect it for a superhero movie. But the X-Men have always been sort of a down and under type of group of heroes, especially with the way they were created. So, I wonder how many extras they had on set that day for this scene. I haven't seen too many behind-the-scenes stuff about this scene in particular for this movie. I'm sure there's stuff about it in behind the scenes of X-Men First Class, but I don't really remember anything being too prominent in behind the scenes for this part in the movie. Maybe for reasons that they had when putting the behind the scenes stuff together, because they filmed a lot behind the scenes for this movie. So, really is an emotional opening. Seeing a child ripped away from his mother like that. I don't even think you see his father in this at all. I wonder who Magneto's father is from the comics. That's something I don't remember. I remember a lot from the comics, but that's something off the top of my head I can't remember. If anyone knows, leave a comment down below. How do you guys think Marvel will open up their X-Men movies? Or at least their first one. Because you know we're going to get one eventually with a rebooted cast and all. Hugh Jackman won't be Wolverine forever, even though we're going to enjoy the shit out of him in this new movie. But I also feel like we're probably going to get some other cameos of people as Wolverine, maybe them testing the waters to see who the audience might enjoy besides Hugh Jackman. It would really hurt to get hit in the face with a gun. This guy's just all like, yeah, what of it? Did he do that? Now we're in Meridian, Mississippi. The not too distant future. Meaning either 1999 or 2000. I'm going to say 2000 though because that's when the movie came out. So I previously talked about this in my other recording, but we meet Rogue here in the beginning of the movie, and she's a teenage girl, and she's flirting with a young boy, even though this young boy looks like he's 25, and Rogue looks like she's 16. I don't know why they went with this teenage aspect to the character. I mean, the only other time I know about it that I've only enjoyed it was when they did the X-Men Evolution cartoon. I was going to say animated series, but there is an X-Men the animated series, and that's something completely different. But X-Men Evolution, the cartoon that came out in the 2000s era, that had Rogue as a teenager, but that also had all the X-Men except for Storm, Wolverine, and Professor X and Beast as teenagers. They were adults, the rest were teenagers. So, but I think it would have played out better for her character in these movies if she would have been an adult and not a teenager. And it's kind of evident that there were rumors that there was a love story previously in the original script between Rogue and Wolverine. And you can kind of get hints of that between some of the scenes that she has with Wolverine in this movie. Freaking out. Just get away from me! I wonder if that was Bryan Singer that told her to play it up that loud. Now here we are meeting Jean Grey in what looks to be a Congress or Senate meeting. Senator Kelly. In the comics, Senator Kelly has a big opposition against mutants, and Senator Kelly eventually becomes president in the comics. Yes, but to live the mutants who come forward and relieve themselves publicly, or revealed, not relieve, relieve themselves publicly. Mutants relieve themselves publicly. That's why they're hostiles. Oh. I wonder if that room actually exists or if it was just a set they built for the movie. Because that's a pretty cool background behind Jean Grey. The actress, Femic something along the lines of that. I can't remember her last name. I'm surprised I remembered how to even remotely say her first one. She's a terrific actress. She did a wonderful job playing Jean Grey in this. All the actors do a wonderful job playing their characters. James Marsden, who plays Cyclops, highly underrated as him. I wish they would have given him a little bit more, though, script-wise and character-wise, and leadership-wise, because it's pretty clear that they made Wolverine the leader, or at least the lead in these movies, as opposed to Cyclops, because Cyclops is the leader of the X-Men. And while, yes, we have this group of ensemble characters, one of them does have to lead. And usually it's not Wolverine, because Wolverine is usually all over the fucking place with his anger, always wanting to do what he wants to do, not what everyone else is doing. He's the loose cannon on the team, but that usually works out in their favor because they can use him as a distraction, or they just throw him into a ball of fucking people that need to be taken out. But that's why Cyclops is the leader, because he can make decisions like that. Professor X, and then we get to see Magneto, Eric Lyncher, Sir Ian McKellen, and Sir Patrick Stewart, powerhouse actors. if they didn't get these actors to play these characters back then, I don't know who else could have even remotely have brought them to life the way these guys did and made them believable. If you guys know of anyone else, let me know down in the comments if you can think of anyone else that could play these characters at that time when these movies were being made with the types of age that they were looking for, as opposed to what we got in X-Men First Class, where they were all younger and in their 20s or 30s. Sorry about that, guys. Had an unexpected phone call. For anyone unaware, when the X-Men were created, they were also created as an allegory for civil rights for black people when they were trying to fight for their freedoms that they didn't have, which, Stan Lee, I don't know how much he cared. I'm not going to sit here and say he cared a whole bunch, but he took part in trying to at least help push forward what they were saying. And Professor Xavier is a character in an allegory for Martin Luther King Jr., and Eric Lencher is an allegory for Malcolm X. And it's a little evident in the way that they butt heads, the way they see differently on how they should relate and take on the human problem with them. Should they help them? Should they not? Should they suffer? Should they be taught a different way? So those types of aspects of them. Then we see Rogue get to this bar. I wonder how Rogue... I've always brought this up. I wonder how Rogue gets to Canada. Like, she doesn't have... I don't know if she has a passport or not. You do have to cross a bridge to get there. At least I think this takes place in this scene in Canada. And we get introduced to Wolverine in the cage fighting scene. Now, for anyone that wonders why he's actually really, cut in this scene versus when we see him later in the Xavier Mansion, is because this is one of the last few scenes they filmed, and he actually got to work out before they filmed these because they took a short break before finishing filming of the movie. And the scene where he's walking around in the X Mansion without a shirt, that was one of the first few scenes they filmed, and he didn't get a chance between getting cast and the start of filming to work out, so that's why he looks the way he does in certain parts of the movie. Bam! And if you guys notice, there's a metal clacking or clanking sound every time he hits him. And I think they only repeat it one other time throughout the movie, but that's about it. And then they drop it throughout the rest of the X-Men movies and Wolverine movies. A little cool aspect that they threw in there that I thought would have been cool and neat if they would have kept throughout the rest of the movie. But I'm assuming sound-wise, maybe it kind of threw itself off with the rest of the design of the sound of the movie. Maybe, but that's just me guessing. I could be wrong. If anyone else knows why they might have dropped it, let me know. But I think that's just maybe something they just forgot about. Ultimately, that's probably what could have happened. Tip jar. I always think it's funny to see what they put on in the background of TVs and movies when they have a TV in the background. And here comes Wolverine in his iconic jacket. Recently, his jacket went on auction at the prop store auction house. I don't know how much it was sold for, but it was the original Wolverine jacket from this movie, holes and all, missing stripe. But this upcoming scene we're about to see with Wolverine in his claws for the first time is pretty iconic. For anyone that doesn't know, the arm, you see the close-up of the fist where the claws are coming out of the skin and you see the skin opening up, that's actually like a real prop that you can see. It's not CGI claws and they CGI'd over his fist. That's a real thing they made with claws coming out of it. So, I remember Hugh Jackman talking about that in an interview. Oh, this guy's all fucked up. I never saw how bruised his face was. Yep, right there. Shotgun Cox. I think it's always interesting to see how the subtitles are written for movies. Some of them are good, some of them are a little off, some of them are just straight bad. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, but I'm sure quite a few people know by this point, Kevin Feige was a producer on these original X-Men movies and some of the original Marvel movies that were being made in the early 90s and late 2000s before he got his hands on being able to make Iron Man with Marvel Studios. So, one of the things he wanted to fight particularly hard for was Wolverine's haircut in this movie, which I'm happy he did because I love Wolverine's haircut in this movie. This and X-Men 2 are like prime Wolverine haircuts. X-Men 3 is a good Wolverine haircut as well, but I like the way it looks in these first two ones. His mutton chops, though, are like all over the fucking place in terms of continuity with this first movie. They get better with the last two, though, that he does in this trilogy, and they ultimately get better when he does his solo movies as well. So, and that includes X-Men Origins for anyone that loves to shit on that movie. I know it's a bad movie, but there's still aspects of it that are kind of good. I don't know about story-wise, but at least, hey, maybe action-wise. Even though some of the CGI, a lot of the CGI shit in that movie, I'll admit that. Sorry, I'm trying to defend that movie, guys. But hey, even a bad movie has some good qualities to it. She must not have known about Wolverine's heightened senses. Probably either smelt her while he was in the car driving, or maybe he saw her moving around when he looked in the mirror. Or maybe it was a combination of both. Who knows? Found ya. What the hell are you doing? Sorry, I needed a ride. Bitch, why don't you ask? I feel like out of all the characters, though, in this movie, Wolverine is the most like Wolverine compared to everyone else. I don't think anyone would argue against that. I mean, there's times Cyclops is like dead on Cyclops character-wise, but it's not 100%, and it's only in moments when he's being a dick to Wolverine. Don't have anything to eat, do you? Proceeds to pull out candy from the glove box. At least I think that's candy. And then we get our little buddy to buddy introduction with them, trying to get to know each other a little bit. They bring up the dog tags now, so it's a little thing at the end with them when he gives them to her. For people, spoilers that haven't seen this movie yet, but I'm sure everyone that's an X-Men fan has by now. Looks cozy. Being polite about his shitty ass camper. Let's be honest, guys. That thing is a fucking death trap. There's a reason it fucking explodes here soon. Nasty. Sorry, guys. Give me a sec. The recording will continue. Just give me a sec. Oh, here's a tree branch, guys. And now we're being introduced to Sabretooth and Wolverine's healing ability. We are at 18 minutes and 21 seconds and counting. Here we go. Now she's about to freak out because she probably thinks he's dead, even though he's not. Well, he might be for a second before he heals and comes back. Because Wolverine can't really die because of his extreme healing ability. And you find that out later, too, by Jean Grey when she explains that and how old he might be or how old he might not be. Cracks his neck. Forehead heals. CGI was pretty good for that scene. I wonder if the whole scar was just CGI or if it was a mix between them shooting it with actual makeup and then going back without the makeup on. So they had him standing on a marker there where they could get the same shot with the same, look. And then they could just animate the two shots together with the healing ability in there. That might have been how they did it back then, because this was I'm pretty sure they filmed this throughout late 98 and 99, and then the movie came out in 2000. Every time the Wolverine's claws in these movies come out and back in, it always looks like it fucking hurts the way they animated it, and his skin healing back. Jesus, Wolverine. Aha, here we go. Being introduced to Storm and Cyclops for the first time in this iconic scene where she starts blowing the shit out of fucking, oh, that sounded bad, didn't it, guys? Where she starts using the weather to blow a bunch of snow at Sabretooth, and then Cyclops blasts at him. Here we go, she's stuck. Bam! Fuck that seatbelt, right, girl? Let's get you out of here. Cyclops grabs Wolverine. But bam! So I did watch a little bit of the behind the scenes quickly before I started recording this. That was a real explosion, guys. They actually did stuff like that back then. Not everything was CGI like it is today. They actually did a lot of practical effects for this movie. Hey guys, look, it's Ray Park playing Toad. Toad's one of my favorite characters from the Brotherhood, from the X-Men comic books, for anyone that reads them, and from the animated cartoons. A lot of people were wondering why they chose to go with Toad in this movie back then, and I'm sure if I didn't, know Toad as I know him now, I probably would have thought the same way. So, but I think I was also like 5 or 6 when this movie came out, so this might have been this second or first movie I seen in theaters. It was either this or Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Looking at his dog tags. Kind of reminds him of his scarred number, or tattoo number, I guess, but it's a scar for him because of the way he thinks of it. I remember in X-Men 3, The Last Stand, Magneto has this really neat line when there's this meeting going on between mutants and what they should do about the vaccine between the humans and the mutants. And someone asks him if he's ever been, touched with a needle of some kind. And he says, yes, I have. Shows her the numbers on his arms and goes, I assure you no needle shall ever touch my arm again. Jean Grey just using her powers to grab something that was across from her. Kind of lazy, but hey, they wanted to show off her powers. But bam! It always jumps. Jump scare always gets me when you got the audio on, but it wasn't that bad this time, especially when you know it's coming. But when the audio's on, it still gets you. And I don't know if it's because it's a good jump scare or if it's because she's putting a fucking needle in his arm as it happens. So there could be that aspect to it. Yep, just tearing that shit off. And then that's the needle he's pulling out, guys, for anyone wondering. That wasn't, what he was pulling off of his fucking chest. That was the needle he just ripped out. Hey, guys, this is what I was talking about. He was really cut in the opening scene in the cage fight, but he's not in this. And then look at his mutton chops. There's like his looks all over the place in this first movie. Walking around. Where the hell am I? What is this shiny ass place? Where are you going? If I heard something in my head saying, "Where are you going?" I'd probably just fall on the floor. Play dead. Yeah, but that's Professor X guiding Wolverine to him because, Professor X loves to play games with people's heads. Professor X is kind of psychotic, if anyone hadn't noticed in these movies. Likes to play games. This way, he's over there. Professor X does a really good job of making you think you're going psychotic. Freaking out. Here's everyone getting ready to leave their classes. Thank God that convenient pillar that was perfectly sized for Hugh Jackman's body, concealed him perfectly. Oh, cool. There's a door there. Good you saw it because I didn't. Aha! Awkward. So, for anyone wondering, most of the characters in this room are characters from the X-Men comic books. That's Kitty Pryde in the light blue, Iceman in the plaid blue, in the red that's Pyro, and then in the yellow that was Jubilee. The only actor that got cast that stuck throughout the movies up to X-Men Days of Future Past was the guy who plays Iceman. That's Shawn Ashmore. For anyone wondering, you can also see him in the Rookie television series that's currently running right now. Where's the girl? Rogue, she's fine. You're just now wondering about Rogue? But yeah, then again, you just now have someone to ask. Yeah, I love how he gets introduced to them, and he goes, "This is also called this is Aurora Monroe Storm. This is Scott Summers, also called Cyclops." Then he gets introduced to Jean Grey, and then he asks him, "What do they call you? Wheels?" What's a Magneto? A very powerful mutant who believes that war is brewing between mutants and the rest of humanity. The best of the following his activities are sometime. The man who attacked you and his associates is called Sabretooth. Sabretooth laughs. Storm. What do they call you, Wheels? I fucking love that scene. This is so stupid. I love how Wolverine just doesn't take anything serious. He's like, "But I'll fuck you up still." Oh yeah. He's like, "I'll fuck you up real good." Logan, it's almost been 15 years. Look at Professor X trolling fucking Wolverine's ass, getting in his head. Like, that's fucked up. Using his own fucking shit against him. Wouldn't you guys say? That sounds like blackmail to me, sir. He's like, "All right, you tickled my pickle enough. What's my fancy on this? What is this place?" Look, we got autistic kids playing basketball. And this douchebag thinks he's Jesus because he can run in water. I do like that we have him explaining that Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Storm were some of his original students, which, that's how it was in the comic books. In the comics, some of Professor X's original students were Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and there was one other, but I can't remember off the top of my head. It wasn't Wolverine. Wolverine wasn't one of the first X-Men. He's just one of the most popular after he was added to them. So, Wolverine's first introduction in the comic books was actually in an Incredible Hulk comic book. Which, leading up to Wolverine and or Deadpool and Wolverine. Hopefully, maybe there's a chance we get to see Wolverine fight Hulk. Well, that would be really cool. We're gonna get to see him rematch Sabretooth, and it's the Sabretooth from this movie, so that's gonna be really cool. Bobby's all flirting with Rogue. Yeah, look what I can do. I can make an ice rose. You gonna suck my dick later? The lower levels are an entirely different matter. It's a death trap. We train for war. We train an army. Upstairs is a school, but this is warfare. For anyone wondering, the X-Jet is an actual, the look of it is from an actual jet. It's called the Blackbird. The Blackbird was a recon plane they used in the, I believe it was late 60s going into the 70s. It was eventually decommissioned, but it looks really cool, so they use it for this movie. And then they also referenced it in Iron Man, the first Iron Man movie, when he's flying over the Coney Island in Malibu, and he looks up in the sky and he asks, Jarvis, scans everything and tells you what it is, and he goes, "Oh, look, this is a blackbird above you flying." Here we go. We got what looks to be people rallying for Senator Kelly as he takes off in his helicopter. Oh, that's wonderful. If you guys saw the hanging mutant sign someone made with a guy like a dummy hanging from it. No, I don't see a difference. All I see are weapons in our schools. I wonder what Senator Kelly's character was based off of from the comic books. And I also wonder who the actor who portrays him in this movie took inspiration from current times for this. Or if he pulled from, from the back when the characters were originally made. People like this Jean Grey. If it weren't up to me, I'd lock them all away. It's a war. It's the reason people like me exist. What an evil man. What a evil prick. And then you get the reveal that that's Mystique. Look on his face. I'd be pretty surprised too if a naked blue woman fucking wound up being in my helicopter and transformed from my right-hand man. But bam, get back there. Yeah, that was probably either a good reason or not. They kind of retcon Mystique's origin though in X-Men First Class, which is weird. I also thought it was weird we never got to see Rebecca Romijn come back to play Mystique after in X-Men Days of Future Past. It was just all Jennifer Lawrence in that movie, and that was it. And I kind of prefer Rebecca Romijn's Mystique over Jennifer Lawrence's. Jennifer Lawrence is she looks like Mystique, but she doesn't act like Mystique. For like the continuity of these, at least. Wolverine always flirting with Jean Grey makes me laugh. Couldn't wait to get me out of my shirt again, huh? He's like, shit, that's fast. Hey, maybe give him some fucking goggles or sunglasses so you don't blind him. I thought it was cool. They showed you a fucking whole x-ray of Wolverine's body and his adamantium skeleton. Oh, you've never seen someone with an entirely metal skeleton before? Yeah. Realistically, what would Magneto want with someone that just has an entirely metal skeleton and can fucking heal rapidly? He was also kind of a prick. Oh, maybe he'd want him to join the Brotherhood. But Wolverine's too much of an asshole of his own to want to do that. Wolverine does what Wolverine wants to do. I think anyone can agree with me on that. And if I was Senator Kelly right about now, I'd be shitting my pants too if I was strapped to a metal chair with a naked blue woman in front of me and an older man talking about nonsense. Sir Ian McCullen really makes Magneto terrifying when he talks. It's such a funny phrase. I've always thought of God as a teacher. Holy shit. Really? What do you intend to do? I feel like if Magneto ever lost his powers, he would really have to become a real fucking engineer mechanic to get metal shit to move without using his abilities. He'd really have to educate himself then, wouldn't he? And you can't just use your powers to build shit, so you gotta fucking go back to school. That'd be funny. Is it just me, or does Sir Ian McCullen look like he's getting his fucking dick sucked? Looks like he just fucking came everywhere. Ah! I remember that being an iconic shot that movie theaters used in their openings, at least from my theater. Growing up, I would always go to this movie theater called MJR Cinema 20 that was in my local area. And I would always see movies like the newest X-Men, Spider-Man movies, the newest Marvel movies at the time when they were first coming out when I was a kid and a teenager. And the they would always have this like opening and this theme song for them to kind of promote their theater but the movies at the same time, and it was a little like the theme song would just be like oh crap, why can't I think of it now? I was able to think of it when I originally recorded this. Whatever. But yeah, they always ended it with clips of like the X-Men movie because it was so popular at the time when it came out. Oh yeah, no, okay, now I remember how like the ending of the theme would go. It's more than just a movie, it's a big night out. Gotta go to the show where the good times are. It's more fun at MJR. Terrible rendition of it, and you got clap in between, some of it, but I don't want to clap on this because I know this is an audio only podcast, and I don't want to burst everyone's eardrums with clapping. Scott Summers cock blocking Wolverine, even though Jean Grey's his girlfriend. I love how Wolverine trolls him with his own name. Do you, Cyclops? Oh, Logan, stay away from my girl. Like that little look Wolverine gives him. Oh, you little fucking prick. Now, see, this to me never made sense why she went to go visit him late at night. I do think it's cool, though, you get to see these little dream flashes of him and his origin of getting the adamantium skeleton. This looks completely different from what you get to see in Origins 2, just so you guys know. It's probably another reason why people were so unhappy. Because in this, they actually make it seem like it was a real fucking horrifying experiment, like it was in the comic books. And then he fucking spears her. See, I still don't understand why she was in there to begin with. Just so he could stab someone, I guess, from the dream. It just, maybe that's what it was. It just, hey, narrative, we need it. Narratively, we have to do this. But, yeah, and then she takes his healing ability and he passes out. But yeah, like I was saying with his origin, they really make it seem like a horrifying experiment in this, like it was in the comic books. But then when you get to Wolverine or X-Men Origins Wolverine, it really just seems like it's a military experiment, like Captain America's. And I'm just like, well, no, it's not the exact same thing. This was like an off the books thing. Should be all right. Yep. Don't worry. She took your power to heal. There's this really cool moment in the X-Men Evolution cartoon, which we'll cover eventually. I will be doing a re-reacting and commentary for that. But there's this really cool scene in X-Men Evolution with Rogue, where there's an episode where she starts to go crazy in her head because of all the people's abilities and their mental heads that she's absorbed, because she gets all their thoughts as well when she touches someone, which I don't think they touched on that in this at all. So she starts to go crazy at one point, and because she's used Mystique's powers before and she touched her, she started transforming into all the people that she has absorbed into her mind. So, and she's using their powers. She starts to go crazy at this concert, starts hurting people, destroying stuff, going throughout the city. And it takes the whole X-Men team to try and calm her down and stop her. They don't fight her. They have to calm her mind, because her mind is just all over the place, and they have to sort of like wipe it. That way she doesn't do it again. It was a really cool episode. That's why I'm saying, like, Rogue is there's a lot of characters in these movies that are really underdeveloped, that have so much more character to them. If they just would have let the actors known that and then wrote to it, the movies probably would have taken off even farther than what they did, which says a lot, because like I said before, these movies were already super popular at the time when they came out. They kind of defined what a superhero movie could look like going forward. And then Spider-Man came out and that defined it too. And then Iron Man came out and that redefined it. So did The Dark Knight, but with Batman Begins. Sorry for the extra background noise, guys. That's my family you might be hearing. Oh, what? You didn't think he was going to lose him? Caged beast. I think the actor's name is Tyler Mane, who plays Sabretooth in this. I wish they would have given him more too, because he's a good actor. He also played Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Just playing with the jellyfish. What of it? And then, Senator Kelly comes walking out of the water naked. Is that a mutant? Stan Lee! I believe this is the first cameo Stan Lee has ever done. And he's like, oh, I gotta get back to the White House. But that's not what he does. He goes straight to the X Mansion. For anyone that does know, the movies. No, I borrowed. You never use your powers against another mutant. So when I was doing my original recording with this, I was talking about how I didn't understand why it was important for Mystique as Bobby to go and talk to Rogue. But then I kind of put it together in my own head. Well, no, it does make sense because they need her as a part of Magneto's plan, and they need to get her on her own so they don't have to try and deal with fighting an entire school of X-Men mutants. So that makes sense after you kind of break it down in that way. Look into my eyes, you see. Baby, you will always be... Hey, where you going? No, don't go, no! Fuck. I see you. Shit, I blew it. Creepy. How could you tell? I'm a sidekick, you know. I don't think you gotta be sidekick to tell you don't like Wolverine, buddy. Sorry for yawning, guys. And now we're seeing Cerebro for the first time. Wolverine's like, what the fuck is this giant sphere? I think it's funny how they make a big deal that he can't be in the room with them in this movie, and then in the second one, they're like, no, we're going to have a scene where Wolverine's in here with him. He just can't move, that's all. Like, really? Why don't you just use it to find Magneto? I do like how they kind of let you know, how would he know how to shield himself from Cerebro? Because he helped me build it. Like, he does. In the comic books, he did help him build Cerebro. Because before they became enemies, they were friends. This is one of the, like, original we used to be friends, now we're enemies stories. And it still works because it's one of the originals. It's not something they're doing now with all these other properties like Transformers with Optimus Prime and Megatron. I always thought it was cool how they did the effect to show how he uses Cerebro and how he sees with it. Now, I also thought it was cool in X-Men 2, he could show how he could differentiate humans between mutants and how he could see them differently to, maneuver through them quicker. The music for these movies are really good too. I like the music for these X-Men movies. They give you a sense of wonder every time they're using their abilities, and it gets better and better each movie because the budgets get a little bit bigger and the CGI gets better that they are able to use. Like the scope of stories get bigger as well. So Wolverine's like, fuck this, I ain't waiting for you guys. I'm gonna take Cyclops' motorcycle. Where's my bike? I was taken by a manlier and butcher guy than you. Sorry, guys, I keep yawning. Slept like crap. But I had to wake up so I could film this. Or record it for you. Not film. See? I need to get more rest. Wolverine looks like a kid in a candy shop on the motorcycle. Top speed, baby! Top speed! See, that's one thing I like about Rogue's character as a storytelling aspect is she's always plagued by not being able to touch anyone or be touched by someone. Like the touch of someone and the love of someone is always something that she always yearned for. And you get that touched on in the X-Men 97 series that just recently passed. For anyone that hasn't seen that, I would check that out. I also have a review of the series as well on the channel under the Uncanny X-Men podcast playlist. So check that out as well. When's the last time we saw her? I was supposed to meet her for lunch. I don't know where she went, though. The timing of that. I think they could have made it a little less on the nose. Don't you guys? Fuck. Sorry, guys. God, Shawn Ashmore looks so young in this compared to what he looks like now. He doesn't. It's not that he looks like shit now. He just, you can tell he's older now. I think he's in his 40s at this point. So I hear people that make jokes about this, and I have to say I have to joke about it too because it's quite funny. I don't know what the whole deal with the color changing of this aspect thing was. Like, oh, the blue is good and the green is bad, or like green's most associated with poison. That's it always makes me laugh when I hear people bring that up, and I'm like, yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like, why is the original liquid in it blue? What is that? They don't explain it. They don't even explain what she puts in it. She's just like, I'm infecting it. The actress who plays Rogan in this does a good job for what they give her. I'll give them that. But she gets less and less as the movies go on, unfortunately. And then she gets taken out of the Days of Future Past movie. At least in any sort of an actional capacity, because I forget if we see her at the end of it when you see everyone at the school all happy, jolly, and hey, it's you. And she looks like she wants to kiss him. I think the green trench coat is something from the comics Rogue actually wears sometimes. I'm not 100% sure, though. I can't remember if that was something they hinted at in the X-Men 97 animated series. Destinations, departures. Come along now. Yeah, I'd be worried if my kid was smiling at someone wearing that on their face, too. That'd be a little disconcerting, I suppose. Damn, fucking Sabretooth tosses that guy like he's some fucking bitch ragdoll. Scream for me. But bam, right in the glass. So much of the effects in this movie are practical and not CGI. This is the only thing I have not seen so far freaking behind the scenes. I want to know how they did this scene because I'm sure it's a mix between practical and CGI, but I would like to know for sure what it was. That way I could explain it to you guys. Maybe I can find something about it after I post this podcast, and I'll talk about it in the next episode for X-Men 2 as like an opener before we start the movie. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you know how they did it, and if you guys are just as curious and a little annoyed about not knowing as I am. Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Ray Park hopping around. I like how Ray Park trolls Sabretooth, though, in this movie. It's quite funny. If only they didn't kill Toad and Sabretooth in this first movie. Then you could have had him in the other ones, but I don't know why they did that. But like most of the superhero movies from back in the day, the villain would die at the end of the movie, and then they would bring him back for a sequel. But then again, most superhero movies back before X-Men didn't get sequels, so... You must be Wolverine. Well, what gave you that idea? The claws or the haircut? Actually, it does. What? Bam! Jesus pose. Yeah, no, that would hurt. After seeing the X-ray for how the claws go in his body, that would definitely fucking... That would look like it would hurt. Bam! Right in the neck. Young people. Got something against young people, buddy? It's alright, young people got a thing against old people, too. Stay where you are, put your hands in the air. Yep, so that's not CGI, guys. They actually lifted those up with wires. And they dropped them, too. None of this is CGI except for the bullet that spins around on the one dude's forehead. Even the guns that you see in the air, those are held up, too, with wires. You Homo sapiens. I like how Professor X has to take control of a fucking Sabretooth and Toad so you can try and get him to even remotely stop. Why not come out where I can see you? Maybe because I'm in a fucking wheelchair. Why don't you fucking go looking for me? Oh, wait, you can't because I got you by the throat. Bitch! It won't be that way. Then kill me and find out. Huh. Then release me. Fine. Bam! Andy, let's go to the throat, guys. Oh, there's your helicopter, guys. Coming in for a landing. I like how they're just always stealing fucking cars and vehicles. In the X-Men The Evolution show, Magneto has everyone just get transported in these giant metal, like liquid spheres that he has them go in and he just makes float around while he flies. It's actually kind of cool. But it's not as believable as, hey, we need a helicopter, I suppose, for the early 2000s. What are you doing? I'm going to go find her. The traditional way. Look. I love how fucking pissed off he gets. No, I'm going to do it my way because fuck, everything you guys are doing is ass. Fight with you, join the team, be an X-Man. Who the hell do you think you are? You're a mutant. The whole world out there is full of people that hate and fear you. I always wonder what it would have taken for Wolverine to join Magneto's side as to oppose Professor X. Because, yeah, he is an asshole that does what he wants, but at the end of the day, he does side with Professor X and the X-Men. So... then we get another scene with Senator Kelly on the table, sweating like a motherfucker, even though we all know what's about to happen to him. He's about to turn into a big old puddle of water. Water. H2O, water. Alright, about to get mind fucked by Charles. I'm telling you guys, Professor X isn't as good as he seems in these movies. I really think Professor X is secretly a psychopath that wants to fuck with everyone's heads. Look at me, look. Oh, shit. If only it was that easy to get your hands out of those cuffs like it looked. Yeah, look at the scope of this thing, huh? Now, I have to imagine in this area there it is a set they built on, maybe like the Fox lot somewhere. It always amazes me how much space they have to build these kinds of huge, humongous sets. Like the Batcave in the Flash movie. That was a huge set that they actually practically built. I'm sure there were some CGI elements to it they added in after the fact, but like that motherfucker was big. Now we get our explanation of what the machine does. Wolverine walking in the background like James Dean with his jacket hung over his shoulders. They really like to make Wolverine wear layers in these movies, I've noticed. Oh my god, Cyclops gets dialogue that is useful for the story and relevant for the plot? Holy shit, that's a first. I will say most of these movies really do have just like a lot of plot conveniences to them, as opposed to we need to find a way to convincingly help push this narratively forward without just, hey, this is convenient, even though this doesn't make sense with what we concurrently have with continuity. Dude looks like a sweaty asshole. Probably had tubes under his body to make him do that. Anyone else wonder why it's Storm that Senator Kelly is talking to instead of Jean Grey? Like why she was lurking in the shadows and not her, considering this is her lab? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Yeah, but... oh god, yeah, that's right. Here we go. And it begins. There goes the hand. When your body can't handle being a mutant. And that's the end of Senator Kelly. Didn't last very long in these movies, did he, guys? Yeah, him, Boulevard Trask, and all the other big wig humans that hate mutants from the comics, they don't last very long in the movies. They're just one-off villains in these movies. Senator Kelly is dead. Fuck. Shit. We gotta cover this up, guys. That's the look Professor X gave initially. Now he's about to use Cerebro, and he doesn't know that it is infected. There goes your head. Wonder what that does to him mentally. They don't really explain it. I always thought it was funny earlier in the movie. She explains how she's never used the machine before because you need a certain amount of control over your powers to use it. I also think you need to be powerful enough to use it. But then she's like, "No, I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna try it out," and it kind of fucks me up a little bit, but not to the point of I'm like Professor Xavier, even though I know I fixed it. But you think it would still leave her fucking passed out for a while? Maybe she's not a part of the last act for the last mission, and then that saves her character to see what else you can do with her for the second movie, as opposed to killing her off so she can become the Phoenix for the third one. Cyclops, Jean, no! If only he could run faster. Bam! Mind shattered. I know where Magneto's going. So, did she read Magneto's mind, or did she read maybe Sabretooth's or Mystique's, or maybe even Rogue's because Rogue's with her? That's a possibility. The scene always made me laugh. It was like, hey, look. Oh, no, look. He's actually dead. This is Mystique. They're just continuously stealing fucking motor vehicles, or vehicles, if you will, to get around transportation-wise. They're stealing helicopters. They're stealing boats. They've stolen fucking cars. Yeah, bam. There's Toad. Just landing on people. That definitely killed that guy. Thud man groaning. Well, he killed another guy, too. Rebecca Romaine Mystique. Always looking seductive everywhere you go. I like how he kind of revels in the sight of the Eiffel Tower again. Explains how the first time he saw it was in 1949. America was going to be the land of tolerance, of peace. No, you're going to kill yourself, unfortunately, with the way he wants his plan to go. Once we get into this third act, anyone else notice there's a lot of red hues in it for some reason? Is it because there's a lot of red strobe lights around them? Or just red lights in general? Or do you guys think they were going with something with it, lighting wise? See, now this is the one part that doesn't make sense to me. He wants to turn all the humans into mutants so their cause will be theirs. In the comic books, Magneto just straight up wants it to just be the mutants that are already existing to be alive and kill the other humans. Like extinction, that's what he wants. Now we get the X-Men plan. Anyone else notice this is the only time we ever see this fucking really cool planning table they have that maps out cities the way it does? Like, we never see it in X-Men 2, X-Men 3, we never see it in any of the other future X-Men movies. What about Harbor Patrol? They have anything that can pick up our jet. You know what? Who knows what the government has secretly technology-wise? They just assumed in this movie that the X-Men had way better technology. They never explained, too, how they get, like, the jet, how they get their suits. Like, they never explain that. In the comics, Charles Xavier comes from a rich family, which is how he's able to fund all this stuff. And I think they eventually explain that in X-Men First Class when they do the origin for everyone, but, like, that's not till 4 movies later, I believe. Yeah, look at all them. They're all like, oh, God, that's cool. That exists here? What? Yep. Popping out the claws. That way he has some room for him when he does it. Already. God, I can't wait to see the gloves that he has in Deadpool and Wolverine, because he's got those metal parts across his in between his knuckles for the claws to come out of, and you got that metal sound of them just like scraping against each other. Oh, it's gonna be badass. Give us some cover. I do find it funny though, like they didn't even attempt a African accent for Storm in this movie or any of the other ones. It's just Halle Berry. I think it's funny that Sabretooth is repeatedly fucked up throughout the movie, and yet Magneto still trusts him to protect his body. Like, this seems like a little bit of some misplaced trust to me, my guy. Oh, that sounded rough. Or looked rough, more like it. Sorry. You call that a landing? Yeah. Oh, I would have brought that up too. That was a rough landing. Hopefully, when we see Cyclops in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, if James Marsden is in it, he gets a much better Cyclops costume. He gets hopefully he gets the blue and the yellow. His visor gets more slimmed down so it doesn't look so goddamn stupid and big and bulky. That was actually Hugh Jackman that did that, guys. Like, that was practically done. There was the sparks and light weren't CGI. That was practical and everything. He actually had like sharp claws on, stabbed it, pulled it out, and then when he went to go do the metal claw, he used those same claws, and that's when they used the CGI to get rid of the two on the outside. Well, bam! Almost got him. Almost got him. Mystique almost got him. So I did see in some of the behind the scenes stuff for this that Hugh Jackman and his stunt double really like looked very similar in terms of their physique, how good they did the makeup and the hair with them. So I'm assuming it's most of the time them just fighting each other, and then they cut to Hugh Jackman occasionally to do the close-ups for both the real Wolverine and Mystique's Wolverine. And a lot of the Toad stuff was practical too. They just had fucking Ray Park on wires, and he was doing his like flipping stuff that he does because he's really good at it. I do believe Ray Park is a gymnast and a martial artist, which is why he's so good at doing action stuff. You can see him as Darth Maul in Star Wars. They give him a little Star Wars cameo in this. And then he's also in tons of action movies you can see nowadays today. So I wouldn't say big blockbuster ones, more like the B-rated action movies. So bam. Kick, bitch. And here's your Star Wars cameo, your Darth Maul with the pipe. Ha! Damn, Cyclops, you blew that door down. And we're getting back to the Red Room fight. Red Room, Red Rum. But bam. So seductive. I swear that's probably like the only direction they gave her was just play it badass and seductive. That was kind of creepy. I do wish they would have given Mystique a costume though. I don't know why they chose to go with her just having like naked blue skin. In the comic book, she actually does have a costume. It's white. It's got skulls on it. She actually has longer hair. It's more thin though. It's not the huge ass fucking wig they gave Jennifer Lawrence when she's in her Mystique blue costume. And she has yellow eyes for anyone that does and that was wondering, because she has it in this movie and the other ones. But in the comic books, she does have yellow eyes, but it's not like just yellow irises. Her eyes are just straight whole yellow. You could like get away with saying she has different shades of blue, but they definitely went darker in this movie than what I've previously seen before in other projects. And that's both across the boards with animation and games and comic books. Yeah, so for this scene, that was practical. They had Ray Park on a set of wires, and if you watch the behind the scenes, you can see the rig they have him set up. It actually just goes straight through the fucking wall. So I'm assuming they had to rebuild it so that after they could film this scene. This line makes everyone laugh. You know what happens to toes when they're struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else. Yeah, I imagine it would, because it's fucking lightning. She delivered the line good, though. I give her that. The line delivery was good. But I love how much practical this movie was shot for, and it wasn't just all CGI. You can see when they do use blue screens, green screens, and when they have to do special effects. But for the most part, there was a difference between them using special effects that were practical and then SFX, which is the special effects that they use in a computer. You're not part of the group. Yeah, you thought you could fool Wolverine, bitch? Get out of here. He could sniff you from a mile away. I love this scene. Prove it to you. Prove it. You're a dick. Okay. Yeah, I believe it. Yep, you'd call me dick. Now we gotta get to the final battle, guys. It's the final countdown. There's just conveniently this giant metal ripped hole. Oh, he's close by, guys. How do you know? Because I can't move. Yeah, Cyclops, you ain't blasting all that metal enough to not, get strapped to the wall like everyone else. That's pretty badass, though. Magneto's like, here, look at your girlfriend so that way you don't try and fucking blast me randomly. I'm gonna strap your head to the fucking wall, too. Bam. Point those claws at yourself, motherfucker. You better close your eyes. Fucking I love how Magneto starts trolling everyone. Yes, strike a bolt of lightning in an area made of entirely of bronze. Yeah, he survived the fall, but that was about it. Are you sure you saw what you saw? Yeah, actually, she wouldn't fucking lie to you about Senator Kelly dying. Watched him turn into a big old puddle of water. It was really gross looking. It was almost like he transformed between a mix of a snail and a human and water. It was weird. Like, what'd you do to him? You did that. You gonna do it to these people too? Come on now, Magneto. Don't be dumb. But Magneto's gonna do what Magneto's gonna do. We all know that. Come on now. For anyone wondering, we are at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 42 seconds and counting. Help. Help. Somebody help me. Help. A lot of wire work in this movie. I wonder if Tyler made Sabretooth senses what he's about to do. Like if he can hear his heartbeat. Because Sabretooth has the same abilities as Wolverine. He has heightened senses, a healing factor. He just doesn't have the adamantium skeleton like he does. He also doesn't have bone claws that come out of his hands. He just has really sharp fucking nails. Like an animal. Magneto's like, up, bitch, it's time. Wolverine's baller. Yep, I'm alive, bitch. Now take it! Through the hole you go, and around the crown. Now, this is one of the iconic scenes we're about to get to where Sabretooth eventually throws Wolverine around the crown and up one of the spikes, and he has to use his claws to twirl around it and then land and then fucking do a pose. And that was used in the MJR Cinema 20 movie theater for their intros every time you go to see a movie. They'd always end on that. Or you would see it at some point throughout it. It's one or the other. It's been forever since I've seen it. Grip it! Grip it real good, woman! That's what Magneto just did with his powers right there. And here it is. Well, bam, I gotcha. Look at this. And land, and pose, bitch. Pose, motherfucker, pose. And he flies into him. Yep, here we go. Whew, that was close. Almost nicked Jean and Scott in the head. Oh, well, here we go. Wolverine's back in the head. Hey, bub, I'm not finished with you yet. And that blows open. Open your eyes, trust me. Has a lot of trust. The effects for Cyclops' beams in this are pretty good. They could be better, I'll admit, compared to what we're able to get now, especially with what we've seen in stuff like X-Men Apocalypse with the new guy who played Cyclops in that. I don't think that guy played Cyclops as cool as James Marsden did, though. Like, he really played up the, like, James Dean cool guy factor to him. And all trying to figure out how to get up there. Who's the best guy for Storm to literally just throw up there with their powers, and Jean to guide them. Hang on to something. Can't get over how much of a goddess Halle Berry is to Storm. Storm's already referred to as an African queen, so. And a goddess as well because of what she can do, so. Bam! Caught it by the tip of his fingers. Now, just gotta let him go. Here we go. Gotta get in there. Music for this scene's pretty dope, too. It's like so anticlimactic. Scott, wait. God, I will never forget how anticlimactic this scene was. Like, this is one of the X-Men scenes I will always remember from these early movies. And I like how they show how Rogue gets her white in her hair. I actually thought that was kind of creatively cool. They're all getting ready to run. Shit, what is that? We gotta go away from this. No! Wait. Why are you telling him to wait? I never understood why she told him to wait. Like, why are you waiting? Shit, could have had that done already, and it wouldn't have gotten as far as it did. Like, now I do remember hearing in interviews and other people that have broken this down that moment you see Jean kind of like look down after everything's done, that's when she gets infected with the Phoenix, supposedly. And that's when she starts to feel it more, and then we see what happens to her and how like it messes with her in X-Men 2 or X2, X United, X-Men United. Yeah, the second X-Men movie is weird to talk about title wise because they had so many fucking different versions of it. And then here we go. Wolverine's trying to help bring her back. Thinks it's too late. Hugh Jackman does some really good acting in this ending scene right here. Now I thought this was pretty cool. You see the veins start to come back, but then you see his old wounds start to open up across his face. Starts to bleed from his back from where he's been stabbed and hit. I thought this was a really nice creative touch to this scene. And then he'll eventually heal his body will eventually heal itself when he recovers. Love the music here too, with a nice crescendo. Let the bodies hit the floor. Magneto, Wolverine, Mystique, Toad, Sabretooth. They're all on the floor. The only ones that are alive, though, are Mystique, Wolverine, and Magneto. Sabretooth and Toad died. I wonder if that was someone she actually saw that worked there, or just like she was just like, I need to turn into someone so they take me to the hospital. This shit hurts. And then the X-Men take off in the Blackbird. Oh, look who's blinking finally. Welcome back. How did we do? Oh, we lost terribly, you know. Wolverine almost died. Scott died. Storm got a pole shoved up her ass from Toad. People got turned into mutants. Then they popped like balloons. It was horrifying. Look who's all healed. And we're gonna get a call back to earlier in the movie when she was touching him. Oh, it's cold. Tickles. There's some parts of this movie I could nitpick about and complain, but I overall really like these movies still. Like I go back to watch them for a reason. They still entertain the hell out of me as much as I joke about them. She took on a few personality traits for me. That means she was an asshole for a little while? Little Dickensian? Little dictator? That was the professor. Guessing they already got him up and out of the bed before Wolverine woke up, because I thought he was next to him. And you get to see the cool table again that you never see after this movie. Sorry if that sounds like it bugs me, but it really does. Is like a continuity error. Like, why didn't we ever see this again? Would have been useful in X2 when they have to re-go back to Alkali Lake, or it would have been helpful in The Last Stand when you got to come up with a plan to try and stop that clinic from being invaded in San Francisco. But hey, that's that. And then you get to see this. Senator Kelly's back? What? Nope, it's Mystique. Son of a bitch. I like how fucking Cyclops says that. He's like, what? No, fuck that. Fuck her. So I know how I talked about how Wolverine's jacket was brought up at a prop store auction that was recently done, and has a missing stripe, I believe, on the left arm. If you look at the right arm, it has 3 orange stripes, and the left arm only has 2. That's because they lost one of the stripes during filming when they were doing the fight scene in the beginning with Sabretooth and Wolverine in the snowy forest. So most people think that that's a continuity error, but it's not. He lost it during one of those stunts, and they just thought it would have been cool for Wolverine to, hey, this jacket's still my jacket. It's my favorite one. I don't care if it's torn up. I'm still going to wear it. So that was the creative element that they went through with that as well. I just thought I'd bring that up because I noticed the missing stripe when he was talking to Professor X. Yeah, if you guys see, it's the top stripe that's gone. He's like, I'm going to take his bike again. Why? Because fuck Cyclops. And then we get to see the ending here with Sir Ian McKellen and Sir Patrick Stewart as Xavier and Magneto playing chess. I like how this becomes like a thing throughout the movies they do. Like they're always wanting to play chess with each other. I made that sound more dirty than it probably should have too, by the way. And I like that Magneto's prison isn't a normal prison with like concrete walls and fucking metal bars, because he could totally fucking tear through a regular prison with his powers. So they have to put him in this plexiglass, plastic fucking type prison. Pretty fucking cool. Why do you come here? Ah, yes, you're continuing search for hope. I like how fucking he looks disgusted after he says that. He's like, fucking stop smiling at me, you fucking pompous prick. You know this plastic prison won't hold me forever. Magneto always making fucking threats. It is sort of, I guess you could say, a David and Goliath story with them. As the gigantic plastic condom shrink wraps down. It's basically what it looks like. I never fucking thought of that until now. That's, I think that's the end of the movie, guys. Unless there's something else I'm missing. Directed by, yep, here we go, guys. That's credits. That's the end of the movie. So the movie ends with Wolverine taking off, going to Alkali Lake, which we will eventually see and meet him in X-Men 2 or X2, X United. And then it also ends with us seeing where Magneto's been imprisoned at. We don't get to see what happened to Sabretooth or Toad. I'm just assuming they died because of what happened to them when they got shot into the fucking water by Storm and Cyclops. So, but overall, this is a really good movie. I enjoy it. Like I said, there's little things I can nitpick about it here and there, but that would just me literally just doing that nitpicking. And at the end of the day, this movie set the tone for how superhero movies would be perceived in the future. It set the tone for what types of movies you could make with them at the time. And it also broke ground in terms of how you could treat the characters seriously. They didn't have to be uh, bombastic, cringe, and over the top, hugely colorful. Even though I know we like the colorful stuff, I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying they showed you what kinds of movies these could be. So I like the black leather costumes for the time they came out, especially because this was right after The Matrix, so that was really popular. I love the actors that got to play these characters. Halle Berry, Hugh Jackman, Femke Janssen, that's the woman who plays Jean Grey, James Marsden as Cyclops, Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier, Sir Ian McKellen as Magneto, Eric Lencher. The list could go on and go on and go on. And then the list gets even bigger as we get to X2, X3, and all the rest of the X-Men movies. So we get introduced to newer characters when we go back in time to the 60s, and we see the origins of the X-Men as well. So, but if I had to pick a favorite scene in this movie, it's probably the cage fighting scene when we're first introduced to Wolverine. That would probably be my favorite scene out of this whole movie, just because I love how gritty it is. It tells you exactly everything you need to know about Wolverine. We find him in a bar in a cage fight, and he's fighting for money, and he's not favorably looked after. And to me, that is just I want to that's what they should have done more of with the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie. Was it should have been more of a down to earth, gritty bar brawler type movie as to what we got with this huge bombastic superhero explosions movie with shitty CGI and all that. So, but I'm happy we got around to actually recording this again. Hopefully this time this saves. The movie was fun to rewatch. I can't wait to get into X2 and see if there's anything different that they did with the characters and that versus this one. It's been forever since I've seen X2. X-Men 2 United is my favorite X-Men movie out of the original trilogy. it's got a much better story. It's a lot more has a lot more heart. You get to see more of the characters with Jean Grey, and you see Wolverine dive into his backstory more. And this is the movie where Hugh Jackman really owns Wolverine as the character. So I can't wait to get into that one. I will be recording that soon. I'll probably record that tomorrow and post it as well. So look forward to that. I will be posting this as soon as I'm finished recording and editing, and this will be posted Thursday. You guys have a wonderful day. This is your host, Zach Riling, and this is the X-Men, the Uncanny Evolution Podcast.
Get my shit straight, tried that, got shit faced. Wisecrack, leave a hip replacement. Handicap, leave you short on patience. Short with me, treat this like vacation. In a plastic baggie, I hold my psyche. Don't even try me, smoke it all, trail a ghost behind me. Was a front, always blinding. Anytime, anywhere, any place you could find me. It ain't like I'm getting far. Trapped between these four walls, down a soft.